courage to the test, laid all your doubts to rest. Your mind is clearer than before, your heart is full and wanting more, your future's at the door. Give it all you got, no hesitating, you've been waiting all your life. This is your moment, this is your moment.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Saturday. At least I hope everyone's having a happy Saturday. I'm having a pretty good Saturday. Welcome to the show. Brand new show, first day, jitters, all that kind of stuff, trying to figure things out. And the very first thing I want to check is I have another channel here. I want to make sure my audio is working great and I don't sound like a robot. So can somebody at least let me know if sound good? Okay, I got the word from the Boston behind the screen here that my audio is good. So anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. My channel is called Cognitive Nomad. I'm your host and facilitator, Larry. This is a place where I share my journey with ADHD, BPD, major depression, CPTSD, chronic pain, and my love for travel, fostering a supportive community and breaking mental health stigmas along the way. My channel is I'm hoping the channel can, turn into an online peer support group for everybody out there that's needing support. My background is working with the homeless and the addictions. I was an outreach worker. I was a front desk support worker for a homeless shelter. So I want to carry that on through this channel here. My other channel, Plump Travelers, is all about, inspiring others to get out there and travel the world. So this cognitive nomad part, I want to create an environment where, anybody can come along and share their stories if they want to. They can be, send it through email or whatever, and we can talk that way. Just a general place to hang out and support each other. And I just want to say that my inspiration is coming from another YouTube channel. The gentleman's no longer here, and his name was Papa Mozo. And I used to be a moderator for Papa Mozo on his channel, and he was a pastor at a church and stuff like that. And so, but he would come up here and just talk about random things, but it was just basically to support and love each other and care for each other and listen to what they're saying. And I'm hoping, Papa Mozo can speak through me and help you guys and to inspire you to continue on what he used to do. That's what I have in mind for this channel here. Everybody needs at some point in their lives needs some kind of support, right? And there's no judging here, all supportive. And so that's what I'm hoping to get out of this channel here. Like I said, I have another channel called Plump Travelers. And I just encourage you to, if you're needing support and everything, and you want to hang out or support each other, like supporting others. Like, you might be having a good day and you can come along and help somebody along with their day, without being a judgmental person, just a loving, caring person, because that's what I try to be my best every day. But the channel's also about talking about mental health and stuff like that, and breaking the stigmas that are out there, and helping others, mental health awareness, helping others to understand um, what's it like living with a mental health disability. Like I said, it might sound like a long list of excuses here, but these are basically uh, my diagnoses from a psychiatrist. I talk to a psychiatrist monthly. I also see a therapist for talk therapy. There's still things that are ongoing for me. I had some childhood traumas and stuff that I'm dealing with, and so, but I enjoy it. Like for those that know me from my other channel, you only see what you see coming from you. You don't really knows what goes on behind the channel, and so I just wanted to bring that kind of stuff up in here. I'm not shy to talk about what my problems that I'm dealing with every day. I'm also not looking for sympathy. This isn't a place to come to ask people to feel sorry for you and stuff like that. That's not what it is. It's about inspiring people to help them through their disabilities, of their struggles that they have, right? ADHD, it's hard to concentrate. So right now, here I am. I'm struggling right now, trying to keep focused on what I need to do to, explain what I'm going to do on here. It's a struggle mentally, right? And not everybody understands that, So I hope that this will bring out that kind of message in my channel. And if you're having a struggle if you have ADHD and you're having struggles and you don't understand something, come on here and chit chat in the chat, or come up live. I'll have links available so you can come up talking live, which is a huge thing that Papa Moza used to do. He would have a link and, hey, you want to come on up and we'll talk and we'll say whatever's going on. Now, of course, we need to keep it, professional kind of deal. Like, it's not going out and saying, oh, I heard Larry has ADHD and he's this. This isn't a place for that. I will not tolerate that. If I see any of that stuff going on, we're going to have to shut that down. This is a place to come and support and be loving and caring for each other. So, so today's topic, yeah, one sec. Today's topic is all about what I've planned for this channel. I want this to be a community-driven channel where we can all support each other, like I was saying. It's very important, that we all have somebody in our lives to support us. Not everybody. There's a lot of people that doesn't have that support network in their world, and so I'm also hoping we all can help lift each other up, right? Because it's a great thing. It's a good thing. It's not a negative thing. It's not anything bad here, right? Again, a lot of people with disabilities think like we're just making excuses for what it is. I'm recently just thinking, or not thinking, but I'm recently just realizing in my own, it's based on my own opinion and talking with others and doctors and psychiatrists and stuff, that these are just labels. These aren't problems. These aren't, things that bring us down and all that kind of stuff that should control our life. It's about understanding them and learning how to live within the environment that we have. I didn't ask for ADHD. I didn't ask for BPD. I didn't ask for any of that stuff. It's things that I have to deal with, and I've been dealing with. I'm 54 years old. And I've been dealing with it all my life, right? And so I'm only doing this is because somebody else gave their time, and to help me to understand, instead of saying, you know what, Larry, get off your lazy butt and go get a job, or whatever the case may be. Stop making excuses for this or that. It's not that. I'm learning how to use the tools to help me through it instead of making excuses. Yeah, I have ADHD. You got to treat me differently. Well, that's not what it's all about. It's helping support each other through their struggles. I'm going to leave this link here in the description below. This is not a sponsored link. I could put in resources, but you know, we all live in different communities, so we all have to have our own little resources. We all have different resources in our hometowns, right? Like I live in a small town. We don't have the same amount of resources that they would have in the big city like Vancouver. So this BetterHelp, I'm noticing a lot of YouTube channels, bigger YouTube channels out there. They use BetterHelp for different reasons and stuff. And so what BetterHelp is, it's an online resource where you can talk to live people and psychiatrists or therapists and stuff like that. They will help you through your stuff at cost. I looked into it, but it's not as expensive as going to like a brick and mortar psychiatrist, stuff like that. It is expensive. It's out of my price range right now, but it's still a great resource right now that I can put out there. Eventually I'll have, you know, different resources that will help you online, that it doesn't really matter if you're in a community that doesn't have that resource or whatever. And lastly, in that part there, I want to make sure everybody understands there is nothing wrong with seeking help. A lot of guys out there, they're afraid, you know, to show their vulnerabilities and stuff like that. Me, I'm okay with it. I deal with my vulnerabilities. If somebody wants to take advantage of my vulnerabilities, my insecurities, all those things, if somebody wants to do that, that's fine. All right, that's their choice. I can't control what they're doing. All I can do is control me, and I'm not afraid. If I need help, I'm going to ask for help. You know, please help me out here. Help me to understand something. I may not always agree with your ways of thinking and stuff like that, but hey, at least we're there to support each other, right? One last thing before I go to the chat, I just wanted to bring up. It's a little thing. It's just like a 12-second clip I'm going to show you here. So just hold on.
You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to rest. Your mind is clearer than before.
Yeah, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. I also have physical disabilities myself. I have bad shoulders. It's going to sound like head, shoulder. Well, actually, I have mental health problems, shoulder problems, head and shoulders, knees. I have problems with my knees, and I also have neuropathy from diabetes. So head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So I have physical problems too. So, but again, they're not stopping me from living life and getting out there. I went on a cruise, my first cruise, March of 2022. You know, 13,000 steps in one day, and like just a week prior to that, I was way under 1,000 steps a day, way under that. Like, so I'm also trying to encourage you to get out there and travel because I'm also a travel agent. So, but I'm not going to do any PSAs right now, but we'll save that for later. But I just wanted to make sure you understand your mental health is just as important as your physical health. I'm going to go into comments. I got some up here. Let's see who's here. We got Dewey. There's my good friend Dewey. Dewey's got a new channel going on, a couple actually. He's got a bingo channel, and he's also got an adult rated channel, which I really won't go in there. I'll let Dewey work that magic, Dewey. But I am sharing the knowledge that, you know, people will find your link. So anyway, thank you for coming in, Dewey, and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, friends support friends. You're right. I'll support you in any way you need, Dewey. Even among friends. Yeah, sometimes you can feel alone among friends. I have actually, Dewey, and I don't know if you know this, Dewey, but when I was in, I see there's other ones in here too that was on our group cruise. Michael Ann, I'll bring you here. Hi, Michael Ann, welcome in. just want to go back to this one. So yeah, on our cruise, I was actually struggling quite badly. Not really quite badly, but I had some struggles on the cruise. And it was all based off the communication. And so having ADHD and all these mental health problems, it's hard to fully understand communication. And when we were on the group cruise, for those that don't know, I was on a group cruise October of 2022, and there was like 40 or 50 of us all in a group. It was Helping Hands for Cruising. I'll mention that some other time. Right now, it's not the time to bring it up right now, but it was a Helping Hands. It's a nonprofit charity. So it was the inaugural cruise for that. We were on that cruise, and there was a group, maybe 40 or 50 of us, and I was on my first cruise in March, and I had ordered the what do you call it? Excuse me, the most expensive internet package, and it really didn't work to the way I liked it. And it was like over $100 for a 7-day cruise. Like, it didn't, to me, $100 for 7 days of really bad internet wasn't really worth it. So when I went on this group cruise with all these guys in Dewey, I chose just to get the $5 little package where you can communicate with each other. But what happened was for one, Carnival's messaging app isn't really the greatest, and it's not anything necessarily against Carnival. If you understand the way internet works and signals and stuff, wireless signals, a ship is made out of steel, and internet signals don't go through steel very well, right? So long story short, the app wasn't working the greatest, and so a lot of people, they don't mind paying that $100 for their internet, right? And so the way a lot of people on our cruise that was communicating was through Facebook Messenger. Well, you needed internet in order to communicate through Facebook Messenger. And so what was happening for me is I'm trying to, interact with everybody, because you want to interact as many people as you can on the cruise. And so I was finding, like, nobody was talking to me, and nobody was answering my messages and stuff like that. So eventually I found out that a lot of them were communicating through Facebook and stuff like that. And so what was happening for me is that I felt like everybody was like abandoning me. But I have BPD, borderline personality disorder, which deals with a lot of abandonment issues when I was younger, right? So just to bring in there, I was feeling very lonely sometimes. So I would, instead of going to find these people, I'm not going to go out of my way to go find them and blah, blah, blah. I was putting stuff on myself. I was, feeling sorry for myself. Why aren't they coming to hang out with me? Why aren't they talking to me? When in reality is that's just the situation. Who am I to assume that everybody was ignoring me on purpose and stuff like that, right? And so I've had to learn how to deal with that. Even though I have BPD and abandonment issues, I had to learn on my own. So I've since learned skills to figure out, oh, you know what? Most likely they weren't ignoring me. It was because of the situation. So I can't be mean or upset with others. Yes, I felt a little lonely, but that's how we need to learn to deal with those kinds of things in this world of mental health. It was hard. So even though I was among 40, 50 friends and you, Dewey, I still felt alone. Now, Dewey, obviously I had an amazing time, on the cruise with you and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure you understand what I mean, feeling alone even among friends. Because our mind can really take control of us sometimes. So anyway, that was a long thing. Audio's fine, no robots there. I think I figured out the problem. And there's my beautiful wife, Ananda. I love you, love. Affinities. She's out in the living room. So yeah, we miss Papa Mozo. Papa Mozo. What a beautiful heart. I would like to. I'm going to talk to his wife and see if I can share some of his clips someday, because they were so inspiring on how he talked. Like, I'm not talking like sharing it all these videos, but sharing certain things from his video collection to maybe help inspire others on this channel. Papa Mozo was surely inspirational to me. Like, there was times where I left crying, but it wasn't, a bad cry. It was like, it was so beautiful the way he talked to others and listened. Like, he actually is the one that really, really taught me how to listen, not just listen and hear the sound, but pay attention and really listen to somebody's words and stuff like that, which is hard for somebody with ADHD, by the way. My ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which is now the label that they use on it. It's just a label. My ADHD is predominantly inattention. I don't have the hyperactivity part, and actually, here's my pills that they give you. It's called Vyvanse, and it's a stimulant, and it actually makes me worse. My ADHD med makes me into the hyperactivity part, right? So I don't take that anymore. Excuse me. I got to get going here before I get behind. So there's Michael Ann. Hi, Michael Ann. Welcome in, Michael Ann. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it's Michael Ann. You're aware of somebody in your circle that has ADHD, or I don't want to say right now. It's not up to me to bring out who's. It is. You are very much like Papa, wasn't that? Thank you, Dewey. I appreciate it. You're gonna make me cry, man. Are you talking like this? I'm not going to take off my shirt like Papa Mozo did. No, that's a different kind of topic. It wouldn't be really good to bring off, take off the shirt on this type of a show. Yeah. What's just saying? This meeting has been amazing support over the years. You know what, Michael Ann? I want to. I really, really, really want to comment to this. When I started my other channel, Plum Travelers, October 24th, 2019. And so that's almost how many years that now it is? That's 5 years almost I've been on YouTube. And my very first channel I found was Tony and Jenny from Lily and Loca. I started watching them and I started listening to them, but they were a pretty big channel. And so when I started out, just like we are right now in the chat right now, I'm trying the best I can to keep up with every comment. But when you get into these bigger channels, comment sections, and they're trying to do, you want to feel part of the group, right? And so what was happening for me when I first started out is that the comments, they weren't reaching. You would comment on something funny or something, try to get into the social group and stuff like that. But in hindsight, you're thinking, okay, well, they're ignoring my questions. Why can't he just get my question? Why can't he, answer my question, right? Because it wasn't going by that quick to me. But I have ADHD and I can read things really quick. So what was happening is I was getting frustrated and I would stop, watching their show and stuff. So eventually I made it around to a few other channels and stuff like that. Sharon at Sea, The Ship Show, many. But I ended up seeing Pero DJ, D&J. And I have to say this right now. I was very nervous, but I actually met them on my very first cruise in March of 2022 on the Carnival Panorama. They were on that cruise. It was actually a solo cruise. It was my very first cruise solo. I didn't expect really nobody when I booked it. But then I went on to the mobile app called Shipmates, and I started looking around, seeing who's going to be, if there's anybody going to be on it. And I found out, well, Pero DJ is going to be on there. It's like, oh, okay, that's a cool, bigger channel. They're not I'm not millions, but excuse me. It was a cool channel I was going to see. And so eventually I started watching their channel more. But what I found was in their chat, they were doing like what I do. And these are an inspiration channel to me. And this is why I always get way behind in chat, because I get caught up answering questions and stuff like they do. And it's so beautiful, but they really try. And that was an inspiration to me. And I'll be honest with you, that made me feel like I was part of this cruise community, right? Having abandonment issues, that's very important to me, right? Here they are. They were answering almost every single question I was throwing in there. It's like, oh my God, right? Which then you want to put your brain on, well, Tony, Jenny, they don't answer my questions, so they must be bad people and stuff like that. But no, it's not. So I'm going to bring this story in quickly here. This whole community has been nothing but support. It's amazing how we all uh, corral around with each other and help each other out. It's amazing. Helping Hands for Cruising, helping Kenny with his issues that he had, and getting him on that first cruise of a lifetime. Right? That is so amazing about this community. But like sometimes you have mental health and it's hard to really realize those things sometimes because you get caught up in thinking, oh, feel sorry for yourself and oh, they don't like me. No, it's not that. Again, who am I to assume that these guys are ignoring my comments? So suck it up, Larry, and let's, hey, these guys are great people. You know what I mean? Look at you guys, Michael Ann and Dewey coming in here, and my wife. You're coming in. You don't have to come in here, but you choose to come in here, right? That shows how much integrity you guys all have, right? And I'm sure eventually, like right now, there's really not a lot in here right now, but I never promoted the channel to get everybody to subscribe yet. It's brand new. So I just started yesterday. So, hey, I'm not expecting 1,000 people in here today. I'm hoping that it'll grow and we can just, have another tool for our community to help each other out and talk about mental health issues. That's truly behind the scenes. Nobody wants to talk about it on their channel, which is fine. That's why I chose this kind of an environment where we can talk about it, and you can be anonymous if you want, you can come on with a different name, if you want to talk about it. There's other things that, it's just too hard to explain right now in the moment. But if you want to talk about a problem and, you're struggling with something, of course, we're not doctors. This isn't about, I'm your psychiatrist and I'm going to sit there and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to be the best supporter I can. And, and I'm sure everybody else is going to do the same thing. Right. There will be a facilitator, and that will be my job. I'm actually taking the training for that right now, a facilitator. It's not that I haven't done this kind of thing before. I was a support worker before. So, yeah. So, you're right, Dewey. It's a fact of life. And so should I go through life having ADHD thinking, oh my God, it's a struggle and I should give up on life because I have ADHD and it's hard to deal with? Everything can be dealt with. It's all in our mindset on how we look at the problem straight on. Because all we see is negativity and we see that bad thing in front of us. Well, why not look to the side and, hey, maybe somebody else might have a different angle on how to deal with it. And that's what's happening to me right now. I'm actually taking a course called DBT, Dialectical Behavioral Training. And it's just different ways of dealing with emotions and stuff like that. And that's what's happening is a lot of these things, like with borderline personality disorder, we're caught up because we're afraid that our past life is still here happening. But in reality, it was back then. And that's what our emotions, we're reacting on those emotions that are from way back then. It's not happening now. Like I said, I thought, okay, the guys were ignoring me on the group cruise. Well, no, it doesn't mean that. You're only feeling that because you feel abandoned, and which is based off of your past life and right now. So now, of course, again, I just want to clarify in that sense as well, is that this isn't about, I'm not saying my advice is exact. We're not, like I said, we're not doctors. But again, it's about focusing on supporting each other and how can we get through that struggle, whatever you're dealing with, right? But my job is also to encourage you to seek professional help in all of this. I'm not qualified to say, look, you have ADHD or you have BPD or whatever. That's up to the doctor. Now, of course, I can support you in it and I can tell you my feelings, but I don't want anybody to get to the fact of, well, if somebody out there is helping somebody else, you're not a doctor. Unless if you can prove that you're a doctor, then you can sit there and say, this is the advice that you should do. But I would like you, if you're going to support each other, to say it in a way that, you know what, hey, I encourage you to get the help where they will help you. And I'm also not saying, psychiatry or all that stuff is perfect either. They can get it wrong. They're human just like anybody else. But as long as everybody understands, this is about supporting and trying to be as positive and loving and empathetic in the best way we can, right? And I think this will grow. Mental health can have a physical symptom. Of course it can. I have used, but years ago. Oh, nice, Dewey. Hey, maybe you can share that one day with how it was like and what your thoughts on it, if you can, Dewey. You can have a lot of physical. Yep. Both my wife were on disability, and so we have struggles. Now put those two together and then see how great your relationship is happening. I love my wife with all my heart. That's why we say infinities all the time. But it's all not peaches and cream. It's amazing how many YouTube channels out there look like they have that perfect life. Yeah, they're perfect. Aren't we, love? Enjoyed many of our talks on that cruise. Yes. Dewey, I really, really love hanging out with you, brother. If you heard me say that, I say that in a church sense, like brother kind of deal, godly way, but I really look up to you, Dewey. I really do. And Andy can tell you that, and I've told her that, you're like a big brother to me. I have two brothers. My oldest brother, he's now passed on, but I still have another brother. He's in Toronto. But I never had a fatherly figure in my life. So a manly man in my life. Now, of course, there's other things, but I'm just saying, you're like a big brother. You listen and you care, Dewey, and stuff like that. And I want people to know that about you too, Dewey. You're such an empathetic, caring, compassionate person. And that's what I hope that will all happen in this channel here. We try our best to be the best person towards somebody else. What's this? I only had the $5 app. It was frustrating. Kind of fell out of the loop. Oh, for the BetterHelp. I think you're talking about the BetterHelp app. Michael Ann, can you clarify that? Yeah, you had the site. Oh, the $5 app on the cruise. Oh, okay. Yes, it was very frustrating. We actually had to go to customer service, and they had to reset everybody's app. It was just too frustrating and sad. I missed out on a bunch of, getting to hang out with a different bunch of people. Because like on a cruise ship, I don't know, a lot of us, I think we know what size the cruise ships are. It's really hard to go find somebody wherever they are. Yeah. Right. So that's why I spent some time in my cabin. I'd order room service instead of going to figure out where everybody else was. Right. Which Ananda's saying. Funny how a lot of times we feel alone when if we talk to someone else and shared our feelings, we'd realize others were feeling similar ways. That's right. I think this is why one of the reasons why I fell in love with my wife, because we're both alike. She has the same heart as I do and stuff like that. And when I first met Ananda, I was working at a homeless shelter. I was just learning how to become a front desk support worker. And what that was is basically a security guard. So I had to watch security cameras just like everybody else. And I had a partner who did the rounds, and it was an 8-story building. But it was both of our jobs to make sure everybody was following the rules and stuff like that. But with the title support worker. So whenever so this was a halfway house, which is all the prisoners getting out of prison, they need a place to go. So it was one of those. It was a homeless shelter for men and women and children. And also they had programming which is where I went. I actually took an 8-month in-house program for, it was called the PDP program, Personal Development Plan, or their name they used to call it was Breaking the Cycle to Homelessness. Now, I wasn't a chronic homeless person, but I've been in homeless shelters all across Canada. And so what they did is this organization created a program to help people to break that cycle of homelessness, and that's what I did. And so what it was, and that's what I was saying earlier, that I found people in my life opening up, like, why would this person care about, why I had a rough life? Like, who cares? Like, you're just some other person out there in the world. But I found that's where I learned how to be empathetic towards others, is somebody else took the time out of their day, their busy, crazy day, whatever, they having a bad day or something or whatever, because they're going to work and they're listening to my problems. And, they inspired me to go through my problems and stuff. And so this is where this is all coming from, is my, my training and stuff like that in my heart. Really, it's coming from my heart. It's not necessarily the training, because it's common sense. When you really think about empathy and stuff, it's common sense. Empathy is all about love. So why not just, help somebody and understand, hey, this person did this because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so what was happening is when I was doing all that work, like I worked there for 5 years, and I heard thousands of stories of why somebody was homeless. And so when you hear all these different stories, my mom used to beat the crap out of me and take a baseball bat or whatever the case may be. Oh, you're never going to amount to something in your life, and all those things that you hear, because that was my job. I was a support worker, so I had to listen to their stories, which I had no problem listening to, right? Because I wanted to help them and help them through their struggles. And so you would hear all this, and then you start relating that to your own life. And it's like, oh, yeah, I had struggles, like I had abandonment issues, but it wasn't, a family member saying you're a low life piece of garbage, Larry, and stuff like that. No, it was simple mental health things, skills that were lacking in my family back then. To be honest, I'll say it right now. One of the issues why I have abandonment issues is because my mom had 8 kids. My father passed away when I was 7, and she had 8 kids she needed to take care of. And I don't know if you all have kids or understand how parenting is. You don't really have favorites, right? So you need to give each one time. Well, when you have 8 kids, all under 20 years old, it's fairly hard to give your attention everything. And so me, when I was a little boy, my father passed away. That's a very scary thing for a kid. I wanted my mom's attention. I needed my mommy, mommy, help me, mommy, help me. But she was too busy doing all of her things in life. So I felt this made me feel abandoned, even though she wasn't abandoning me, right? So those are stories, some of my stories in my past, and it hurts and it's caused a lot of pain for me. But it's not really like a lot of the stories that you hear coming from homeless people. I've heard of, millionaires with multi-million-dollar companies being homeless, all the way down to the other end. I'm not even going to go where the other end is, right? And so I just encourage you guys out there, if you're ever looking at a homeless person, do not judge that book by its cover. There's a stereotypical stigma attached to a homeless. Oh, he's looking like this, scruffy old beard, dirty and stuff like that. No, that's not what a homeless person is. That's what the movies portray as a homeless person. A homeless person could be anything. It could be a guy in a $5,000 piece suit. He's homeless. So when you start to hear all these stories, and then you start, like Ananda's saying here, you get the familiar stories going along with it. And then it's like, oh, good. I'm not the only one, I'm not alone in this world, like my intro saying. It's your time to shine, guys. Reach out to somebody and talk to them. Again, this isn't about a friend teaching you lessons, and it shouldn't be. We are not qualified to teach people how to live life, and that's the problem. You have people that are broken that are trying to help other people that are broken. That's not the way this, and I don't want this to happen here. But what I would like to do is say, hey, look, I've gone through this, but I highly encourage you to go seek help first before you start taking any advice from anybody in here. Again, we are not doctors. We are not qualified to teach somebody. We can have our opinion, but a lot of the times our help is helping them in the wrong way. And so I encourage everybody. That's why I have a disclaimer at the end of the videos. It'll be on my outro. It's on my intro. There's a disclaimer here. This is not a place to get doctor's information. I'm not a doctor. Nobody's a doctor. So I highly encourage that. I have moments when I can be seated at a table with a bunch of friends and still feel all alone. So sometimes it's a long-term feeling, and sometimes it's a very short-term feeling. Yeah, of course it is, Dewey. I think the most important thing in that is knowing that you do still have somebody in your life that cares for you. In my intro, I truly care about every single human being. Now, of course, my purpose in that is coming from a godly thing. I believe in God. I'm a Christian and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter if I'm a Christian or a Buddhist or whatever. I'm still I still care about every single thing on this planet, right? Everybody deserves some love. And I think, Dewey, in those kinds of situations, yes, we can get caught up in, even when you're sitting with a bunch of friends and having those lonely feelings. I think as long as we know we have somebody in our life, right? And again, that reason why you still feel lonely, even though you're with friends, there's still issues with that, why you feel that way, right? And that's, again, I want to bring into, hey, maybe you should go see a doctor or something about that. I'm always going to keep encouraging everybody out there to seek the help. There is nothing wrong with helping it. Now, of course, as I was saying earlier, that not every doctor are perfect. They're not. So what, like with this BetterHelp, and Dewey, I don't know if you can really attest to this. If you don't like your doctor, seek another one. And that's the way it works, right? We're all human. And of course, they're not all in it just to make the dollar and just, yep, here's your pill or whatever. There are pill pushers, in my opinion, but hey, we need to break that cycle of negativity in our life. And that's what's happening is Dewey's sitting at a table and he's feeling all, well, why is he feeling that way? What's the reason why you're feeling that way, Dewey, right? So we need to understand the whys of why this is happening, right? And then find that positivity thing on how to deal with it, right? That's the way I deal with things in life. When I posted the message earlier without him, I was getting, Dewey, I'm going to be honest with you. My intro, it makes me cry almost every single time. So like I was really holding off on that. But then also with Papa Mozo, it really, I was actually planning, his birthday was in February. I think it was February 24th. I think it was. And he lived in Chicago, and I was actually planning to go down for his birthday. I think maybe 2 months or a month before he passed away. And I ended up having to cancel that, like I do. Dewey, I cancel a lot of things, and it's not on purpose. It's the dysfunctional world that I live in with a bunch of things. And that really hurt me really bad. Like I was really excited. I was going to go see our Papa Mozo, man. He was so loving and inspirational, man. I can feel him. I can feel him here. Sorry. He was another big brother to me, like you are, Dewey. I feel alone a lot. My YouTube has been my support and more of my close. Yes, you're right, Michael Ann. Even though you don't get to see me go into your channel a lot, Michael Ann, I still see some of your stuff as well. I don't. It's impossible for me to get around to every single person's channels. live feeds and stuff like that. Just like I don't expect everybody to come to mine either. I actually follow over 600 YouTube channels. Now, I don't go to all their stuff. I don't watch every single little thing of theirs. The way I treat YouTube is like Netflix. Now I get a thing full of, hey, oh, what am I in the mood for today? Oh, Michael Ann's cooking tacos. Oh, let's go check out how Michael Ann cooks tacos. Or, graduation, or your, what's the other one? I get a laugh at it. But actually, to say this, Michael Ann, excuse me, I'm really into the medieval sword fighting and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to remember something LP or something. You call it something. It's the role playing thing I think you were talking about. So just know, right? I have that information in my head, Michael Ann, and that just goes to show that at least I'm, a part of your community, right? Because that's another thing for me. If I don't see people coming, your brain starts to think, well, why aren't they coming to my live feed? They don't like me. No, stop feeling sorry for yourself. That's not the case. Even though there might be somebody out there, it's like, every stuff a little boring, that's okay. It's okay for people not to like our stuff. But the most important thing in this is what you're saying, Michael Ann, is that this community does support each other. It's amazing. Like I've been around a lot of communities. A lot has been travel, but like I follow the tech world and all these other communities. They're just not the same. Like it just doesn't have this loving community feeling. It's like a big family. And I still feel that way. And I'm sure, like, we have family members that we, truly love. Well, I love all my family members, but there's certain ones that you have a little bit more closeness to and stuff like that. And that's normal. What do we say? I can share that with my kids have ADD, one with hyperactivity and one without. Okay, yeah, Plotting. One has ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, also for anxiety and depression. Yes, there we go. I don't have ODD, never had that issue, but I believe I have some family members that have ODD. I understand that quite clearly, and it's very scary. I think after talking with my my therapist about things like this, it's I'm starting to see kind of like a pattern in all this kind of thing. And it seems like if we're struggling, like when you're a kid, and now this is not a diagnosis or any doctor thingy, but this is my own personal feeling about it because I have my own, is I see a lot of us when we were kids, there was a lot of things happening in our life. It was stressful or whatever. If you have a very stressful childhood when your brain is just growing, that's what's causing all these things to make us lose concentration, get hyper and anxiety and all those things. It just seems that way. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just my own take on what I see talking with the therapist and stuff like this. Actually, I can say right now, my favorite subjects in school, there was two. Can you guess what they were? Social studies and geography. So, which is what my channels are all about. So, I'm very analytical thinking and stuff like that. And so after talking with my therapist and talking to a psychiatrist who's basically just there to listen to me and ask me if I need any pills, but nothing against psychiatry either. Like, I don't want to knock psychiatry. What doesn't work for me might work for you. At least you're trying to get that help, right? I myself have struggled with depression and anxiety, also had symptoms of ADHD since childhood, never formally diagnosed. If you're not struggling with anything really, Michael Ann, do you really need help? Right? I always encourage people, if you're struggling in life, go seek help, go ask for help. Please help me. We can only go to our loved ones and friends and stuff like that for so long, but eventually we need to get out there and ask somebody to help us to fix the problem. But if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it, do you? That's just my opinion on it, right? Um, Anxiety is hard to deal with. That's my original first thing why I got on to disability, because we thought that I had bipolar and I was having lots of depression and anxiety. So they did diagnose me with anxiety and depression at that time. I actually don't have any anxiety anymore. I still actually take medications for anxiety on rare occasions, but it's not that I can't deal with the anxiety and depression. It's a certain situation where, you know what, I'm going to fall back on it because, you know what, if I don't, the situation will be just miserable, and I don't want that. So what I'll do is I take Ativan. It's an addictive drug. I don't recommend it to anybody, but I work with addictions, and I have a very strong background, or not background, but understanding of addictions. And so I watch where it is. So a lot of times, it's just easier to run to your pill and, take care of it. And there, I'm all nice and cozy. I try my best not to take it, but I also pay attention to what's going on. Something might have been said and it got me anxious and stuff. I'll take it. But it's only because I want that situation to change in the moment. But for the most part, I'm always trying to not take my medications for it. I try my best, and that's a good thing, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to develop your strength on how you're dealing with the problem instead of relying on the pills. I think the best thing is to not go on any pills, but I'm not against pills. Sometimes we do need pills. I'm actually taking a pill for ADHD called Strattera, and Anna's going to laugh at that one. Because I don't like it when the psychology field calls them two different names. I call them by the name brands. So I only know it as Strattera. It's a non-stimulant, and it just works perfect for what I have with my ADHD, but I also have this Vyvanse, which is the stimulant, and I won't take that now. So I feel pretty good with what I do now, right? I bet you've learned a lot from your kids, Michael Ann. Even though these disorders can be frustrating, I find we learn the most from people that that have them. Yeah, you're right, love. Larry's not commenting on our comments anymore. Here I am getting the flack on comments. It's going from Plum Travelers to here. It says ADD. Yes. Thank you, love. See how she's supporting her love? I've learned a lot from personal experience, plus the 13 years I worked as a pediatric nurse. Yes, I remember you saying you were a nurse before, Michael Ann. Gave me lots of experience with various mental health disorders. Yes. I have a niece who lives in Ontario. I don't know if she stayed with mental health, but what it was is she's from Ontario, and she took nursing, and she ended up moving back to my hometown where I'm from. Her husband was from there. And when she moved to my hometown, St. John, she worked in the psychiatry ward. I don't know, like they've now since separated and stuff, and she moved back to Ontario, and she's working at the hospital in that town where she from. I don't know if she went back to mental health, but yeah, she said, you'll learn a lot. And she helped me to understand a lot about myself and my struggles and stuff, just through stories and stuff that I've shared. Yeah. I have not been diagnosed with any of these items you mentioned, but I have had many of the symptoms at one time or the other. Now, Dewey, do you mind if I ask, do any of those symptoms that you're talking about, do they affect your life? Now, I need to be careful on how I say that, because there was one past trauma in my life that I said, hey, it's pretty simple. I don't deal with it like most people do. But Ananda, my wife, always said, well, maybe you were affected by it. And I'm starting to realize now that I am still affected by it subconsciously. So I'm wondering, Dewey, do you think any of those symptoms that you're having are affecting you? Like affecting your life in a negative way? Like, again, I don't want this to be a diagnosis or anything, or like a true answer to problems. But the way I look at it is, if how do I say this? I lost train of thought with this. Oh, what a great way to bring that in there. Can you help me get back on topic, love? Yeah, so affecting. So if it's not affecting your life, I personally don't see an issue with it, right? Just hey, if you're able to deal with it, and that's the way it is. So that's the way I'm seeing my problems, right? At least the problems that they're teaching me is allowing me to live a quality life, right? But who's to say that's the perfect way to do it? If it's helping me to have a good quality of life with my wife and my life around me, then I don't need help, right? But the way I see these things is if you're struggling with these things, Dewey, if it's really a problem for you, that's when I say to seek help, right? You do have a support system in your life, but I don't think support systems aren't really the answer either. They might be a temporary band-aid for the problem, but I still encourage others to seek help, however way that may be, right? Could be a pastor, it could be a doctor, it could be a psychiatrist, could be a therapist, oh, all kinds of help. But as long as they're a professional party that's able to help you to deal with it. I am also not against support groups helping people through things too. Even though I don't really encourage it, I prefer to say seek professional help first, just in case, right? I think if your support group is helping you to deal with it, it might be the wrong way to help you to deal with it, right? It could cause more problems. That's what I'm trying to say in that. But a loved one might be able to help you, like Ananda's helped me deal with a lot of things, right? But I'm also seeing a psychiatrist and stuff like that, right? So how far am I? Oh my gosh, I'm 6 minutes behind. Became a lot more aware of mental health since 2012. Our community lost 9 youth. Oh yeah. Yes. 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 Um, love. I don't know if you know that. You see that word unalive? So the comment that Michael Ann's making right now. So I just wanted to help you while I'm in the moment, guys. Sorry. I want you to understand that's the word that we need to use instead of saying all the other negative stuff that word would mean. That's why she's putting it in there. The YouTube algorithm picks out those things and it does things that you don't want it to do. Just like what do you call it? Nightbot. Yes, I think we can all relate at some point in our lives feeling these ways. Yep. That's why I have so much compassion for anyone suffering from these feelings all the time. I know what it's like to feel depressed, but I can't imagine feeling, what? You're not depressed with me, are you? My favorite quote is from a TV series. Don't quit before the miracle happens. That's right. A good quote. Maybe I'll use that one day if that's all right, Michael Ann. I have 2 brothers. I never get a chance to talk to them. So I will talk to you anytime, my brother. I see what you're saying now. Okay. Thank you, Dewey. Yeah. Sorry. Amanda just had to pass me something. On the cruise, I would just end up wandering around. Sometimes I would find someone, or other times I just got a snack or lunch. Other times I'd go back to the cabin for a bit. Now, Michael, and you also had V though, right? Like, although I had Dewey as well. But again, we don't see that. We don't see what others are going through, right? A lot of times we won't say anything, and it's not our place to say anything in that sense. It's just, that's why I think it's important that we have support groups, like not just friends, support groups. Hey, you know what, Michael Ann, I'm having a rough day here. I just fought with Ananda, and we don't need to get into specifics, but I'm just having a rough day, blah blah blah, right? Can you help me to calm down and stuff. That's what it's all about, man. Can't imagine having to divide attention between 8 children. She did her best. Yes. I will never blame my mother for anything, ever. I can only imagine how a child can feel abandoned. My ex left when my kids were 7 and 3. The youngest didn't really have a close bond with him like the oldest did. Yeah. I really wish people could see my heart, and it's not necessarily that important, but I really wish people could see where my heart goes with it. You really need to hear these stories to understand empathy, right? That's why I can understand that you can have empathy, Michael. And a lot of people, they just think everybody is out there making excuses about your story. Okay, you know what? Suck it up, Michael. And you blah blah blah, right? No, it's you can tell that you're an empathetic person, right? I wasn't always empathetic. I had some rough times and stuff like that. I have a past. I was married for 18 years with 2 children and grandchildren. That's not, it's still not the greatest right now. So I'm trying to make it work. Trying to do everything I can to make it work. And we'll see how it works, right? You just got to keep going, right? The mom struggling as a single parent and dad only visiting when convenient for him. They have struggled and daddy issues for years. Yes. Yeah. Now, what I want to say within that part, we need to be careful on certain things, because I dealt with it. I've been dealing with my past things without going into details. I've been dealing with certain things like that, and there's the thing called parent alienation. And so, yes, when you say convenient for him, there are dads out there that do use the excuse, you know what, I feel like going to see my kids today. There is that. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But then there are reasonings behind why that dad didn't visit or whatever. And that's where parent alienation comes in. They will say, well, the custodial parent would say, well, why didn't daddy come for Christmas? Well, you know what? He's probably out there with his other girlfriend and blah, 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 didn't care or whatever. Like, without going into details, right? There's that part of things. There's 2 sides to a divorce. 2 people were in love, they had children, and then they split up. It didn't work, right? So it's not fair that one side gets to say, this other part of the side of the divorce is doing something wrong. Now, there are bad parents on that other side. Don't get me wrong. Like, there is deadbeat dads, but it's not always the case. There are many different variables and reasonings to why people do what they do, or it could be even vice versa. It's always out there in the media that there's the deadbeat dad not paying child support and stuff like that. Well, there's many reasons to why those kinds of things happen, but then there's also many reasons to why that they choose to be a deadbeat dad. Then yes, then you have a right to feel those things, but you can't always judge that non-custodial parent as, hey, they don't care, right? Or convenient for them to show up, right? Yeah. I think the important thing is to keep trying to make things work. We're not perfect people. I would say pretty much most of us are broken. We have some kind of broken thing inside of us. And we need to fix it. There's a lot of hurting people out there, a lot of hurting children out there that, are hurting because we misunderstand on how to deal with it. And that's not fair to the children, right? Yeah. No, I understand. I think in that, if you don't mind me saying this, Michael Ann, I think in that situation there, I guess in your case, the ex-husband, the kid's father, he needs to step up and do the right thing. Even though the kids don't go, like you're saying, that they're not making time for him, at least make an effort to do it, right? Show them that you really care for your kids. If you want to be that part, if you don't, then I think it's sad that you're not helping your children. You're still responsible, even though you're separated. You're still responsible to try to help them to live a quality life going forward. Just because you're divorced and separated doesn't mean your parenting rights or whatever the case may be are done. That's no. It's your duty to try to make things right. Um, Even if it means having your ex having their life and you having your life, but still try to be a part of your children the best you can. You know what I mean? Make an effort, right? I think in that situation, that's the way it sounds for me, Michael Ann. The dad needs to do whatever he can to make it up to his children, even if they're adults, right? Um, they still need their parents' love. You know, be a man and own up to your stuff. Like I said, I didn't have a perfect past. I've owned up to all my wrongs that I did in my past life, and I'm still trying to prove it. And I'll go to my deathbed till the best I can, trying to show the best I can to my children and grandchildren that I'm trying. I'm trying to be the best I can, right? It's not always perfect, because as you notice, I'm already broken. I've already said I'm broken. I'm trying to fix those problems. And a lot of those problems leads up to me trying to rework the past with my children, right? And that's what I'm doing. And I still fail sometimes. Again, we're not perfect. Divorce and separation is so hard for the kids. Unfortunately, life happens, and it happens. All parents can do in that is make sure the kids know to the best of their ability how much the parent that left still loves them. Yes. They know dad loved them, but dad dealing with his own issues too last probably 6-7 years, more than they can handle. No, totally understand, Michael Ann. Unfortunately, those are things like Dewey was saying earlier, or somebody was saying earlier. Those are things that are the realities. Sometimes we can't make everybody happy within a divorce. We're separated. Those things happen. And unfortunately, children are hurt in the middle. And I won't go as far as saying, well, that it's, how do I say it? Those things are going to happen, because the children all they want is us to be together and loving and being happy together. But unfortunately, divorces do happen. And unfortunately, both sides have issues. It's not just one side. Now, there might be a guy, that beat up his wife all the time, the abuser and all that kind of stuff. Then you can start getting into, hey, I deserve a little bit more kind of stuff. But it doesn't matter. The most important thing, as we hear in the court system, is the best interest of the child. Well, if you're going to argue about, well, you did this, and you did this wrong, and you're not doing this, well, is that really helping your kids? No. Okay. Work together. Both of you guys got to work together and make that work for your children, to show them that, what, you're capable of having love. Because all we're doing is arguing back and forth. That's not gonna, no, it's not gonna work. Again, I'm not no expert, relationship expert either, right? But that's just how I feel. I just make sure I'm there for them. Yeah, you're right. Yes, that's all you can do, Michael Ann. I was so looking forward to meeting Papa Mose on the cruise. Said that he passed before that. It was an honor to meet Shelley. Yes. Oh. Thanks, Michael Ann. You just reminded me. I just found our group cruise footage. Well, it wasn't that it was lost or anything. It was on another hard drive, and behind this green screen behind me, and I had a hard time finding it. And so now I've finally found the hard drive with the footage on it of our group cruise. So now I'm going to have some more footage to put out on my other channel, and I think you'll probably remember when they were giving out the Papa Mozo Award stuff, and Shelley was there. I was standing behind Shelley. I don't know where you were sitting, but I was. It was really such an honor, emotionally, really tough, but it was such an honor to meet Shelly at the meetup in Miami. She's another beautiful lady. I'm still in contact with her and stuff like that. Yeah, I miss her. I would love to see her go on another cruise one day with us all. We need to do that, like where we all, like how we were all together. I would love to see all of us that was on that other cruise. My parents split when I was very little too, so I understand completely. Yes. LARP, there it is. LARP, live action role play. Missing it. My oldest decided to take a break for a year. So, Michael, and let me ask you about LARP. Now, my not passion, but my love right now is the between the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th century, the Saxon period over in England, the fighting and stuff like that. I'm really stuck on that stuff right now. Is that what LARP really is? Kind of like you're fighting, uh, um, uh, doing the sword fighting and stuff like that. Is that really what that is? Because that stuff really fascinates me. I'm actually looking into making a video game. I did appreciate back in October that you helped Kenny and I with the check-in for. Oh, don't make me cry, Michael Ann. Squirrel moment. Squirrel. Ironically, I have another sister. She's now passed away. Also, um, her nickname was Squirrel. Did you know that, love? Shirley's nickname was Squirrel. And now Michael Ann's bringing up Squirrel moment. I have rarely taken medications. Was on antidepressant a couple times to cope. It was more situational. Did go to support groups, therapies. Oh, that's awesome, Michael Ann. That's awesome. As long as you're seeking that help instead of just trying to help yourself. We suck. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody out there, but we suck at helping ourselves. We need others to help us. We need to find that right person that's going to help us. At least get through the struggles, right? It doesn't mean it's you're perfectly fixed or anything, but at least it's helping you to better quality of life. That is one thing I avoided was crap talking my ex to kids yet. Yes, you're right. That's parent alienation if you were to do that. Kids always came before our kids. Yep. Even for scheduled visits. Yep. I invited him over for Thanksgiving and Christmas in 2022. It went okay, but for reasons in 2023, we had other things going on. We are all broken in different degrees. It is the way we work at mending ourselves that make our personalities what they are. Now you're starting to sound like Papa Mozo, Dewey. Thank you for letting me share. Hey, that's what we're here for. Again, I'm going to say a little bit before we end here. I'm so fortunate I got to go on a cruise, Papa and Shelly. Yes. You know what, Dewey? Ananda and I, we were actually scheduled to go on a cruise, but on another cruise line. It was Carnival Freedom. We were actually scheduled to show up at Grand Turk the day you guys were in Grand. I think you met up in Grand Turk. We were supposed to meet up with Papa Mozo in Grand Turk on our Carnival Freedom, but that actually got canceled because of the pandemic. So I didn't get to go on that cruise. So we would have all met on that same cruise. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing more videos. Yes, you will. You'll be seeing more. Yes, Dewey. Our LARP is a medieval horror fantasy LARP. Oh, okay. Takes a little of each of those. Okay, cool. See, for me, what my interest in the medieval times is the sword fights. Growing up without a father, like so I said earlier, my father, who is the father in my life, he passed away when I was 7. But I also have a biological father that I found out years later that was my biological father. So he passed when I was 3. So I never had no father figure in my life. I never had a man, Larry, suck it up, buttercup, and get in there and do your, fix the car and let's play baseball kind of deal. I never had that in my life. So I grew up with sisters, 5 sisters, and hanging out with my mother. So I'm more, what's the word? I'm more attached to the female side of a human than I am the male side. Whereas some males, like tomboys, they're more attached to the male side instead of being more attached to the female side. So I have a lot of female qualities in me, and so you kind of get lost in the feeling of, well, I want to feel like a man. I'm a man, like, that's just me. Like, I'm not judging those who feel a certain way. That's totally separate situation. So I feel like a man. Sorry, I'm missing that part of my side, that manly side of me. And so when I see, for some reason, when I see this medieval thing going on, the fighting, and where I get it from is actually the Netflix series called The Last Kingdom. Uther, the king, and the king of Edinburgh, or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it was all about, but that's where I got all this, and the fighting scenes, and that's where I got to feel like, when I watched those things, it made me feel like a man. Not that I wanted to run out and get killed by people. That's not the thing. But the concept behind it, knowing that during those times where a man, one of his things was to go out and fight. And they never knew that that day, okay, we're going to fight. This could be my last day on this planet, And so, and these are men that had families and everything. Like, I couldn't imagine. But for some reason, it makes me feel manly. Yeah, I get to go out there with my big sword and fight those other ones and save the world and stuff. So that's where my medieval, I guess, with the addictions coming from. And that's what I've been doing the last few days now, watching stuff like that. But Moses and I had a lot of our own deep conversation when he was still alive, and on the cruise with. I bet they were very deep conversations. I've had some deep conversations offline with him as well, Dewey. I miss him so much. I was involved with a support group for widowed, separated, divorced individuals for many years. It helped me a lot. I went on to take training to be a facilitator. Ah, there you go, Michael Ann. So basically, what I'm doing right now, I've gone through so many support programs and all that kind of stuff. Training. So part of my training, to be a support worker at my job, I had to learn certain things. So I learned mental health first aid. I learned what do you call it? Nonviolence crisis intervention. There were so many, boundaries, all those things. There's so many things that I learned within that, what, why not? I can still transfer that kind of thing through here. All I'm doing is listening, really, and helping, and try to help you feel as positive as possible. That's all I'm really doing, and that's what support groups are all about. And that's what I hope that I can get out of this. I love the laugh. Yes, yes. Oh, ironically, Michael Ann, the last season here, the fifth one, I've actually have not watched it. I'm trying to save it because it's the last season. I didn't want it to stop. I like my Utrecht. But, those are other things. Too many people feel many of our traits, and I'm proud of every damn one of them. Always been rough and tough, manly man. Yeah. I truthfully, Dewey, for me, I actually love being attached to my feminine side. I love it. I get to understand women more, which will help you to have a better relationship with your wife. Like, it for me, I'm just saying, for me, it helps me to understand, like, I can understand PMS. I can understand all those other things that women do, right? Whereas a man, get what they want out of your wife, and, wifey, you do everything for me and stuff, that kind of, no, I'm not, that's not kind of the man I want to be. I really like being attached to the female side. And no funny thoughts on that, Dewey. Funny thing is, I have been separated for 23 years. Wow. We aren't even divorced? Woo! That's a long time. But those things happen. Our divorce was final a year later, from what I understand. 2006. Well, actually, that is the case, because I couldn't have married Ananda if I didn't. The last lesson got broken up. I was much closer to my mother than my father, and I got a lot of. Okay, there we go. Yes, I see that, Dewey. You know what? There's nothing wrong with who you are, Dewey. Not a thing. You be Dewey. Too many people have the impression that a man has to be rough and grow and for yeah. That's right, Dewey. I agree. That's not the way it is. You know, we need to be soft and gentle with women, treat them well, and at the same time, you know, that saying "happy wife, happy life." That's the way it should be. Oh wait, what did I say? Oh yeah, you already said that. Let's see what my wifey's saying about me. Michael and my parents were the same. They were still just separate when my dad passed away a few years ago after 40 years, and they each had significant others. Yes, and it was amazing how they got along. Like wow, like whoa, you know, after if without going into the personal details of things, it was amazing how they got along. Like I'm blown away with how they get along. I loved all four of them. That's why I love it. When I married Ananda, I gained up 2 dads and 2 moms. They could be bothered to legal. Yeah, they couldn't. Yeah, they never got divorced. No, Dewey means it's okay for a man to be soft and gentle or a woman to be rough and. Really? Oh, wait. Well, I guess Ananda and I are going to have a conversation after this show. She's talking about this rough and tough. Oh, okay. You wait for this conversation after we're done, love. Wink, wink, Dewey. I refuse to pay for the divorce. I wasn't the one that was unfaithful, but I think it was his safety net. He didn't have to marry his now ex-girlfriend because he wasn't divorced. Yeah. Again, Michael Ann, divorce is so tough. There's so many things that happen, and it is sad. And you know, on all parts, not just your part or their part or whatever. It's just sad in general. It's a sad story that we have to deal with those kinds of things in this life, right? You know, and that's why I again, you know, supporting each other is the best thing that we can do. Is you know, because we all have struggles. We all do. Sorry. You might say I'm having a good peachy keen. Anybody can throw in a server smile, as they call it. Which my wife saying, huh, that was the same as my parents neither wanted to pay. You know what? I didn't want to pay either. I didn't pay. My ex-wife left me. Good blended personality should have a combination of each. I agree, Dewey. I agree 100%. 100%. Just don't ask me to fix your car, Dewey. Especially cars today. Ananda, I was the rough and my dad never had. At least I learned to build and fix things on my own. Yeah. You know what? Ironically, Michael Ann, that's where I got the opposite with my mom. I learned how to cook. I learned how to clean, wash dishes, laundry, iron. I know how to sew. I know how to crochet. What else? What else do moms do? I could be a good mom. 44% of all marriages end in divorce. Yeah. But the alternative, the other 56 end in death. Yeah. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. So I'm down at the end, and I'm 22 minutes past that. Well, I had lots of great fun. Again, today's topic was about where is it here? There we go. Today's talk was all about what I had planned for the channel. So let me take a drink here, guys. So going forward, what I would like to see is just, again, having time just like this. Now, of course, I'm going to have topics that we'll talk about, you know, just like on the other channel, we talk about cruising stuff like that. But on this channel here, I want to talk about mental health stuff. So I'm going to have, you know, like an ADHD night talking about ADHD and what's it like living with ADHD. There'll be that. And then, you know, so in your case, Michael, and if you want to come up and talk about some of the stuff that you deal with ADHD, you know what I mean? So I'm going to have theme nights. I'm going to have talking about mental health. It's mainly mental health, but it's also, you know, if you're having a rough day, you know, if it's a Saturday afternoon, which is really what it is for you guys. Well, yeah, for you guys, it's actually 12:24 p.m. here now because I'm on the west coast of Canada. So yeah, so if you're having a bad day and you just need somebody to, you know what, a lot of the time that's what I would do with Papa Mozo. I was having a rotten day and I was his moderator, but I would also go in there and it just would help me with my day. even if I didn't even say anything, just come hang out and help listen to others talk about whatever the case may be, right? I want this to be a community of support and supporting each other. Excuse me. Give me a sec. I think that's all I got to say right now. Let me finish up these last 3 comments. My boys grew up learning to cook one. There you go. See? And there's nothing wrong with that, Michael Ann. Look forward to the different topics. Yes. And it is 3:24. Yeah, that's right. 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. So again, I'm going to go. I didn't get all my banners all done up here. Did I have a banner for today? No. So I'm going to go live every Saturday afternoon or morning because I start at 11 a.m. here in Pacific, or 2 p.m. Is it 2 p.m.? Yeah, 2 p.m. Is it 2 p.m.? Yeah, 2 p.m. That I put on Saturdays. It's on my banner on my channel. So yeah, I'm going to go live every Saturday. It's going to be themes and stuff. I'm just asking that you guys, can you at least, try to help me and share this out with others that you think might benefit from, any support and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if you all know about how, there's multiple YouTubers out there that have multiple channels. This is my mental health part of my channels. I also going to have a cooking channel coming out. But that's going to be a while before I have that going. So, but yeah, if you can encourage and share this out. So right now I only have a couple subscribers, I think right now. If this is what you like and stuff like that, please considering hitting the subscribe button. And if you like what you're hearing, please give me a thumbs up. And also hitting the notification button because that will let you know whenever a new video or a new live is going live. And yes, I'm going to plan on having other related videos because I actually have some videos up there on my channel right now. They were from my old Plump Travelers channel, but they're still about mental health. So if you want to hear a little bit about that, it talks about a little bit about my struggles with ADHD and stuff and all that. Let me finish up one more thing. Let's see. I think we and others learn about the different topics. We will see very many aspects of ourselves in each of those top. Yep. Yes, it was 2 p.m. There we go. So yeah, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. There we go. I definitely will share it out. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, my love, for hanging out with me, my love. I'm one of your first. Aw, thank you. I always remember my first. Yes, Michael Ann. Thank you for sharing the sunflower. Now, for all you guys out there that don't know this, I have a video, a short, a YouTube short that I'll share on the channel too. So the sunflower is the international symbol for hidden disabilities. I'll explain in another time what it's all about, but yes, that's why Michael Ann's sharing out this sunflower. It's a very important symbol for those that are disabilities because, like, you see all the handicap spots. It's all got a wheelchair, and everybody around the world knows what that's all about. But nobody really understands hidden disabilities, which is those that you don't see in mental health or physical. Some of the physical things they don't see. They don't know that I have osteoarthritis. You know what I mean? So that's a problem. That's a disability, but people don't see that. So that's another thing that I'm gonna, promote a lot is that channel. There's a website that about hidden disabilities, and they also have. I don't have it here in front of me. I have a bracelet that Ananda makes. She sells them. If you want one of those bracelets, let me know. Yes, she does. You will make bracelets. See, look, she even shared her own sunflower. See, she's trying to hint at. She just doesn't want to. So what that bracelet is, so with hidden disabilities, they have this lanyard that you wear whenever you fly. It's not fully globally recognized yet, but it's getting there. It's in a lot of the major airports. And what this lanyard does, it's got a placard and explains, I have hidden disabilities and I may need this and they need that. It'll explain on the card, but it's to let the gate agents know that, hey, whenever they say for those with disabilities, you can board now, it's another mental thing to help others to see, hey, look, this is the reason why they're getting on the plane first. They're not trying to skip line. They're not trying to fake that they have a disability. That there's a story that I just watched the other day, which is really sad. There's people that are faking disabilities just so they can board that plane first, which I really think is sad for our community and stuff like that. So this is what this Hidden Disabilities organization, it's a UK organization, nonprofit, and they have this lanyard that they're trying to incorporate in all the airports around the world, just so it's kind of like, you know, when people park in handicapped spaces. I actually have a handicap parking placard for and I also got a card that says I'm disabled, because a lot of people say, oh, you're just borrowing that for a minute. You can walk. You're not disabled. Well, I need it. I can barely walk certain times and all that kind of stuff. And getting out of a van isn't really easy when you're parked this close to a car. It's really hard getting out. So that's why I also have a disability or a placard. And my doctor has to sign off on it. This isn't me faking that I have a card. And this is what's happening in I'm not going to pick on a country or whatever. There are people using excuses that they have disabilities, and that's why they're getting on a plane. So that's why this sunflower is an international symbol for hidden disabilities. So yeah, I'll talk more about that at some other time. But right now, I'll teach Larry how to make them. Yeah, like that's going to happen. Oh, by the way, guys, I just want to let everybody else know, because Ananda's going to like this one. She really is going to love this, because she's just volunteered me to learn how to make these bracelets. We have a Cricut machine, which can cut over 300 different materials. I have the Cricut Maker 3. It's not the recent version. The recent version is a big, huge one, but that's out of my price range. But I can make custom t-shirts, everything. I can do all that kind of stuff, and that's my plan to do this. So little does Ananda know, she's going to be taught how to make all those things for everybody else. So she's going to teach me how to make these bracelets. She's going to have to learn how to make all this custom merch for everybody, which I plan on giving them out during some live feeds and stuff in the future. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming out. I hope you enjoyed what's to come, or whatever happened here today. I enjoy this. I really, really want to encourage you guys to hang out. If you're having a struggle, come hang out. We'll help you to deal with it. You know, deal with whatever you're struggling, right? You know, I'm trying my best to help people have a positive life. You know, there's so much negativity going on in this world. So yeah, that's just one tool that I'm trying to use to help people to stay positive within this craziness. So until next time, next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, or for those on the West Coast where I'm at, 11 a.m. Pacific, I will see you then. And I have an outro. So good day, everyone.
You've tamed the
Wrong one, sorry.
You've tamed the voices in your head. You've put your courage to the test. Laid all your doubts to rest. Your mind is clearer than before. Your heart is full and wanting more. Your future's at the door. Give it all you got. No hesitating. You've been waiting all your life. This is your moment.